Hey guys, welcome back to SteamStax, and I know that this video has been a little late coming, but I've been really busy and haven't really been home much the past couple of weeks. That said, let's move on to my level 30 Swordcaster build guide for The Witcher 3. Keep in mind that I'm working with 15 extra skill points that I've received from Places of Power. Now there are a total of 33 Places of Power in Witcher 3, so 15 shouldn't be that hard to find. If you're short of Places of Power, go look for some location guides until you find at least 15 of them. You can easily tell how many you've found by subtracting the amount of skill points that you have minus your level. Also, you may notice that I'm level 31, but I'm keeping out an extra skill point for the purpose of this guide. Regardless of what level you are, however, this build requires a total of 45 skill points. Get to the fucking build guide already! Alright, I'm going. Jeesh. As the title suggests, this build guide is mainly combat abilities with some sign abilities. I've designed this build to be the most effective build for my style of combat. Now the first ability that you're going to want to max out is Muscle Memory. It gives you an extra 25% fast attack damage and an extra 5% adrenaline point gain. I'll explain the purpose of having adrenaline points here in a minute. Fast attack is probably going to be your main attack, so it's important that you put a lot of points into this first column. Next, you're going to want to go ahead and max out Strength Training, which increases strong attack damage by 25% and again adds another 5% adrenaline point gain. Strong attacks are especially useful for taking down larger, slower enemies and also is extremely useful if executed on a critical hit spot. Although you will not be using strong attacks nearly as much as fast attacks, they can be very useful in combat. The next ability that you're going to want to completely max out is Precise Blows. This increases your chance of landing a fast critical hit by 10%, fast attack critical damage by 75%, and once again increases your adrenaline point gain by another 5%. Critical attack damage occurs usually when you attack a target from behind, and does significantly more damage than a regular attack would. Explaining why this is important would be like telling a baby not to shit itself. Moving on, you want to put 5 points into Crushing Blows. This ability does the exact same thing as the previous, only this time applies to strong attack abilities and adding another 5% adrenaline point gain to the pile. Now, this is where the fun stuff happens. Put 5 points into the Whirl ability. What does this ability do, you might ask? I'll tell you. This ability fucks the shit out of everything that lives. To perform this ability, hold the fast attack button down and watch everything on your screen die. You might be asking, why wouldn't you just do this ability all the time? Why even do anything else? Why, Stax, why? Because, confused YouTube viewer, this attack consumes all your stamina first and then consumes your adrenaline. After you're out of adrenaline and stamina, you can no longer perform this attack. How do you earn this adrenaline? You naturally earn it by killing things in combat and also slowly regenerating it. Remember all the adrenaline we've been building up with these moves? That increases the rate in which the adrenaline regenerates, ultimately letting you do this move more often. So not only does putting 5 points into this ability reduce the amount of adrenaline and stamina it consumes, but it also adds yet another 5% adrenaline point gain. Next up, lay 2 points down in the ability Rend. This attack works similar to Whirl, except it's for your strong attack. Hold down your strong attack button and it deals damage in proportion to the stamina and adrenaline consumed. In other words, the longer you hold it down, the more damage it does. This ability is useful for once again slower enemies and enemies that go into defensive state for a period of time like elementals. Once they go into this state, simply charge the ability up and let them have it when they come out of it. I only put 2 points into this tree because you won't really have too many opportunities to use it, but you'll have it when you need it. After Rend, throw down 3 points and max out the ability Counterattack. What this does is after a successful counterattack, the next attack deals 30% more damage per skill level, a critical hit, and a chance of knockdown based on the number of adrenaline points you have. So in other words, this ability adds 90% damage by itself after a counter, and also adds another 3% adrenaline point gain. Next, put 2 points into Crippling Strikes. This ability applies a bleeding effect. Enemies lose 50 vitality for a total of 5 seconds and adds 2% more adrenaline point gain. I plan on maxing out this ability once I get the skill points because there's a lot of free damage that you could be doing. Every time you hit your opponent, it deals an extra 250 damage over time. That's like doubling the power of your sword, and it's only on its 2nd level. Finally, to finish out the combat tree, put 4 points into Battle Trance. This ability increases your sign intensity by 100% if you have all 3 of your adrenaline points. This is another ability where all the adrenaline points you have saved will come into play. If you notice your adrenaline bar full, you have 3 options to attack. You can either Whirl, Rend, or use a sign to double the intensity. I also plan to max out this ability when possible. Moving on to the sign tree, put 4 points into Melt Armor. This will weaken the enemy armor and also scale the sign intensity up to a max of 60%. It's perfect for heavily armored enemies or enemies with a lot of health. It will increase stamina regeneration in combat by an extra 2 points per second. Not only will this help with casting signs, it will also allow you to perform Rend and Whirl more often. Put 3 more points into Exploding Shield. This ability will push the enemy back when they attack you with Quen casted with a chance of knockdown. I would advise always trying to keep Quen casted in combat to shield you from attacks. You should also cast it right before a fight because you will generate stamina almost immediately outside of combat and it's essentially free to cast. This ability will ensure that you have time to roll away after an enemy hits you so you can regain your composure. Oh, and this ability also adds another 1.5 points of stamina regen per second. Last but not least, put your last 2 remaining points into Fire Stream. This will turn your Igni into a longer stream instead of a quick burst, allowing you to better focus the sign on single enemies when you want to. To do this ability, simply hold down the sign button with Igni activated to burn all things living. Putting 2 points into this ability reduces stamina cost by 25% and also increases stamina regen by 1 point per second. Now that you have all these abilities, group them together like so and add the respective mutagens in the slots for huge bonuses to attack and sign intensity. Now you might be asking why I didn't put any points into Alchemy in general. Well, the simple answer is Alchemy offers too small of increases to justify spending a point, and general is pretty useless at level 30. There are just better things that you could be spending your points on to help you in combat. Lastly, I'd advise using heavy armor with this build as it adds large bonuses to adrenaline regeneration and also adds much needed defense. I would suggest either using the mastercrafted Ursine gear or possibly the mastercrafted wolf gear if you have the level. If you don't have either of those, go look up guides on where to get started. Anyways guys, that's it. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Be sure to like this video if you liked it, subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Thanks again for watching and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!